Episode 69, 5-1 Movie Weapons. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of 5-1. 5-1 is all about the countdown from our panel of experts on a different topic each episode. Today, we are featuring the best movie weapons in our style of counting down from
5-1.
Before we get much further, we should probably introduce our panel of movie weapon experts. I'm Chris, and I'm joined by my two dangerous sons.
Cade Moore.
That's my 15-year-old.
And I am Jet.
My 12-year-old, and we are
5-1.
Another really long break for us. We've been doing this for like a year with these long breaks now. We got to stop doing that. But we did get some brand new gear in our studio, a new computer, new laptop. Fingers crossed these recordings work.
Yes.
Yeah?
Fingers crossed.
We are now in late October of 2019. Halloween is right around the corner. And before we know it, we will be well into holiday season, which for the last 4 years, with the exception of one, has meant Star Wars in theaters, right?
Absolutely.
The new trailer dropped on Monday, a couple days ago. What's today? Wednesday? Tuesday? What is today?
Today's Wednesday.
Today's Wednesday. So the new trailer dropped on Monday. Final trailer for the movie. What'd you guys think?
It was great.
Great. I can't wait.
And we bought our tickets. They've been purchased. I'm now officially in countdown mode. You guys kind of feeling the same?
Officially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Well, with all that being said, having a 5-1 episode about movies feels appropriate because I'm like I said, I'm in countdown mode and I'm ready, and I'm actually really excited for this episode.
Yeah, I'm stoked.
It's a good topic.
Did you guys have any trouble making your lists?
It was very easy for me.
No trouble, just a lot of deep thinking.
Deep thinking, huh?
Yep.
So you told me before we started you're proud of your list today.
I am proud. I'm proud of... Yeah, I'm proud.
You should be so proud that you speak directly into your microphone the entire episode.
Yes, I'm proud.
Okay. And did you have any rules for your list?
No.
No?
It has to be a weapon.
Okay.
And it has to be from a movie to add on to Jet's point. Yeah.
Movie weapons. Got it. Okay. For me, I didn't necessarily go with the most devastating or powerful weapons. I focused more on just what I liked and kind of like how iconic the weapon is to that movie.
That makes sense. If you're going to pick like the most overpowered weapon, it'd be a pretty simple list.
Yeah, I didn't do that. I just picked weapons that I thought were cool and were very iconic to that movie. Like they kind of defined what that movie was or symbolized, maybe not defined. We're going to change the order up here a little bit from what we usually do. I'm going to bring feedback up to the front because sometimes we have feedback that refers back to the last episode, and it kind of makes more sense to address that stuff before we get to our new list. So,
feedback.
First, I wanted to give a shout out to a new listener. His name is Matt. He contacted me. He listens with his two boys, Austin and Ethan Brown, which I think is really cool because, that's like us.
Yeah.
And Matt gives me all sorts of ideas for the shows. He's very involved with feedback. He's always giving me what his thoughts on different shows and what his opinions were. And his boys have their own opinions, and they're smart. And I love that they listen together. I think it's really cool. So shout out to Matt and Austin and Ethan. Thank you for listening and for giving all the feedback. It's very much appreciated. From our last show, which was 5-1 comedy movies, it was a while ago. I did get some feedback from lots of people that said Jet sounded pretty salty. Everyone wants to make sure you're okay, pal.
Wait, when was I salty?
During our last episode, comedy movies. You might not remember, but you were kind of grumpy the whole time. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Loyal listener Nick said that he loves you. So maybe cheer up this episode.
Okay.
All right. Let's get on to the list then. You guys ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Kate, you usually go first, right?
Yep.
Then it's me, then it's Dad.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
It's
I'm used to like going in a circle.
We're going
clockwise. I'm used to going clockwise because of the old house.
We're going counterclockwise in our new palatial 5-1 studios. Cade, what's your
Number 5.
Mjolnir.
Mjolnir, Thor's hammer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had to choose something like, well, the first, like, when I thought of movie weapons, like, Marvel instantly came to mind, because it's just a bunch of superheroes, right? So they all have different weapons and whatever.
Sure.
And I could have picked any of them, but the only one that had, like, a really long-lasting effect on me was Mjolnir.
Okay.
Like, it has, like, I think it looks like it was created by the gods. Like, the design of it looks great. I love the look of it. And you can tell it's Thor's hammer from looking at it. It doesn't look like a regular hammer.
Right.
And I love, like, in the first scene when no one could pick it up but him, and it was just, like, I don't know, it was really cool to me. And, like, the lightning looks really cool and stuff like that, so.
It does look pretty cool. Do you prefer Thor's hammer, the original, or when he had the new
The Stormbreaker.
Definitely the original.
Stormbreaker? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, definitely the original.
Okay.
The hammer looks way cooler than the axe. And it was, like, not something so, like, out there. Like, the axe was huge. It had a
Right.
giant blade to it, and it was big, right? It was subtle, but it was really cool. And it, like, fit with the rest of his outfit and everything. I think it, like, really completed the look.
Okay.
My favorite weapon of Thor is just his hands. Like because when he lost Mjolnir, I feel like he was at the peak of his power. Because right
Mjolnir.
after,
It's Mjolnir.
okay, he beat Hulk.
Without Mjolnir.
Yeah, and
When
he,
his eyes went
he
all
also
glowy.
went against a god and did like insanely good, and the god like can't die, the goddess of death, Hela.
That's hella true. I think Mjolnir, for me, it didn't make my list. It would have been my second choice for a Marvel weapon.
Iron
Okay,
Man
yeah.
suit would be your number one.
Bro, why you got to spoil my list before we get there? Yeah, Iron Man suit I would pick over Mjolnir. But that's a good choice. It didn't make my list, though.
I definitely thought about Iron Man suits. Definitely.
I just,
Yeah,
I mean,
Especially the scene where he steps in it,
Yeah.
like in the second movie, and then like it's cool when like they can all fly to him. I thought it was cooler when he like stepped in it and then he like put it on himself, and it was
It's
like
cool when he has like a briefcase or like a
Yeah.
watch, and then like he turns it into a
right.
suit.
It is really cool. And I mean, obviously, I'm biased towards Iron Man. He's my favorite character from the
Same here, same
MCU. So that's going to skew my opinion. But even speaking practically, Thor's hammer is awesome, but it turned a god into like a slightly more powerful god, whereas the Iron Man suit turns Tony Stark, a regular human, into somebody who can compete with Thor. So
Which is
I think
crazy.
the weapon itself is more versatile and powerful in a way because of the jump that Tony Stark makes from
Yeah.
Tony Stark to Iron Man, basically.
That's true.
you're right. He was a god and made a god more powerful. So.
Yeah, but still, Mjolnir's a good choice. I'm not dissing
So
it. but-
Thor, he had Mjolnir. I don't know how to say it. He had his hammer.
Mjolnir.
And then
Mjolnir.
And it got broken, and it became ultra powerful. Then he had an axe. Basically, is it an axe or a hammer?
Yeah, it's an axe.
an
Okay,
axe.
he had an axe, and he was powerful. And then he had an axe and a hammer, and he like was he? Well, he was. I don't know. Was he powerful then,
I never saw Endgame. Couldn't tell you.
Cade?
What?
Was he powerful when he had a hammer and an axe?
Yes, and I'm trying to exclude Endgame out of this because spoiler alert, I guess, or whatever.
I mean,
It's been out for
yeah,
a long. It's not even in theaters
The
anymore.
absolute worst superhero of all time, like bottom tier of bottom tier, right? Captain America picks up Mjolnir because he's worthy or whatever. Like,
Okay.
no, he was puny and took steroids.
We've talked about this many
Okay,
times.
okay.
We don't like Captain
Besides
America.
the point,
Lots of people do.
He picked
though.
up the hammer, and everyone in the theater was like, and I was just like cross fingers, like, please die, please die, please die, please die.
Yeah.
You know, and he got so close to dying. Whatever, it doesn't matter, right? But that was the only thing I don't like about Mjolnir. I mean, I like the fact that only the righteous can pick it up or whatever.
Right, but not Captain.
He's not righteous.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. All right, Jet, Cade, anything else to add about Mjolnir?
Say it, Jet.
Nothing.
Say
Mjolnir.
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 Hey,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
All right.
It's Swedish, right? It sounds Swedish.
Norse. I assume it's Norse.
I would assume it's Norse. Which,
Like the sound of the word, like it sounds like a Swedish word. Like how you know how like Swedish dogs. Look
that's
like York?
all the same region. That's all Norway and Sweden and Finland are all next to each other. So when you say Norse mythology, it might not just be Norway. It includes the region that was once inhabited by the Norsemen.
I think Ragnar Lothbrok from Vikings, Travis Fimmel, I think that's his name.
Yeah.
He'd be a great Thor.
Yeah, but so is Chris Hemsworth. I'm not knocking that. Chris Hemsworth looks like a god.
That is
Well,
absolutely true.
then Ragnar Lothbrok should be Odin. He'd be a great Odin as well.
But he's not old.
Yeah.
No, they can make him look old. They made him look old
Then
in the
just
show.
pick an old actor.
Yeah.
Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, I thought he did
But
fine.
he's kind of a psychopath.
Because of Silence of the Lambs?
Yeah.
That's a different movie from like 25 years ago.
Oh, maybe he grew up to be Odin.
All right, Jet, what's your number 5?
I have Indiana Jones's whip.
Good choice. Why is that your number 5?
You know, it's kind of obvious in my opinion. It's a signature weapon. It introduces him with it. He uses it throughout all 4 movies, maybe 5 now.
They're working on 5, supposedly. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
Very iconic to the movie and the character.
yeah.
I knew this was going to be on someone's list, so I looked it out.
Okay.
I had the feeling like, oh, someone's gonna pick
But
this.
I kind of
Yeah.
debated. Like, it's also kind of not a weapon to me. He uses it mostly like to get
I disagree.
around.
I completely think it's a weapon for him.
It's kind of both. I think.
I think it's like a very versatile.
It's a very
tool.
versatile. Yeah, he uses it as a weapon to knock people
But,
out.
like-
He uses it to swing across chasms. He uses it to swing across
Would you
rooms. He uses
consider-
it to
To
pull
take
a,
guns?
to pull a woman in to kiss him. So yes, it's a very versatile
Would you
weapon.
like consider Batman's grappling hook as a weapon though?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't know if that's what. I don't.
Well,
think
it's kind of hard to make this argument since anything can be a weapon because you can kill anyone
I mean,
with
he
pretty
could,
much anything.
you could throw the grappling hook at somebody and make it a weapon, like Captain America does with a shield. Right? It's stupid.
Yeah.
But the whip is a weapon too. It just happens to have other uses.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's my number 5.
All right, good choice. All right, for mine, I queued up some songs for you guys so you could guess what they were before I actually list them.
Freddy Krueger.
Freddy
his glove.
Krueger.
Freddy's Glove. Yeah, that one was obviously really easy.
This is on my
Is that his
list.
name?
I think it's my number 3.
Well, I have it as my number 5.
No, it's my number 4.
It's well, then you can talk about it with me here. It's instantly recognizable, right? You see the glove, you know it's Freddy Krueger. I'm not a huge horror movie fan, but to me, it's the most iconic horror movie weapon in my eyes. I mean, I know you could argue, what's this, Michael Myers knife or whatever,
Jason's
but
machete or something like that.
yeah. But I would say Freddy's Glove, at least for me, and I'm a product of the '80s, so that that's when his movies were a big thing. And really, though, his main weapon isn't his glove; it's his ability to get inside your dreams and take over your mind. That's how he defeats you, which actually kind of would have been cool for this list. Maybe I should have picked that
Yeah,
instead.
that's the other thing. I should have said this in the rules. Like a person, like the main villain. I sometimes they are weapons. Like one's very obvious. That's on my list. But like others, like Freddy Krueger going into people's minds.
Yeah.
Or like, would you consider that a weapon?
It's his weapon to take your mind over. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I picked his glove. I don't know. The glove kind of defines the character's look. You see it on the posters, and it's Krueger.
And the reason I like it better than Jason's machete or Michael Myers' knife is because machetes and knives were things, and they were already weapons before.
True.
You've never before the movies probably never seen a glove that has blades coming out of the fingertips.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
Supposedly, it was modeled after an actual weapon. I can't remember what it's called. It's like a ninja type weapon, though. It's not something you see.
It's just modeled after long nails.
Yeah. Yes. In the original film series, Freddy made it himself before he was burned to death out of sheet metal, pipes, fishing knives, rivets, and an old leather work glove in his boiler room. And I guess there were different variations in some of the other movies, but I don't know. I didn't watch them all, so I don't really know. All right, Jet, you want to add anything else since it's your number 4?
No, I was gonna say what Cade said about it being his own thing. You know how it's original, but he took it.
Oh, thief. All right, Cade, what's your...
Number 4.
The wands.
And
From Harry
Harry
Potter.
Potter.
Okay, all of them?
Well, I like the look of Dumbledore's the best.
Is that the one that you picked out when we went to Universal?
Mm-hmm.
I
Or
chose-
no,
It's like-
Universal.
It's Universal.
I chose
It's got those little
Voldemort.
beads. It looks like beads. It's kind of
Yeah, it's got...
That's kind of
yeah.
hard to describe it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they're awesome. In the scene when Harry gets his first wand, he's picking all of them out, and they're destroying things, and then he gets the one, and it's whoa, all magical, and lights come on, and the wind circling around him.
At Ollivanders, he's the best character in the whole franchise.
Yeah, that was a really cool scene to watch when I was a kid.
That is one of my favorite parts in the whole series is when
It
he gets
is?
his wand. I love that part. Very whimsical, magical.
There's a bunch of other cool weapons in Harry Potter too. It's been a long time since I've seen them, but I'm just gonna name some that I don't know their actual names. But the sword he uses,
Godric Gryffindor's sword
yes,
Cool.
against the basilisk.
yes,
Yeah,
Basilisk. It's a cool word.
it is a cool word. Yeah, the Elder Wand, I think, is the most powerful one, right?
Yeah, the one that he just snapped in half and threw it off a bridge.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that one.
Wait, didn't Dumbledore use the Elder Wand?
I was thinking that when
That
Kate
was
said
his
Yeah, and then
Dumbledore.
Voldemort took it. You know,
I don't remember. It's been too long. But okay, it didn't make my list, but I thought it's an honorable mention
Yeah,
for me.
because the guy, there was 3 people, and they all like wished to like have something. One was the cloak. The other one was
the cloak.
forgot the other one. And then there
map?
was
Marauder's map, maybe.
No,
don't
that
know.
was made by
yeah, that was made by.
the 4.
And then I can't remember the other one, but then it was the wand. You know.
Yeah.
And then they ended up killing the person with the wand, and then Dumbledore had it, and then Voldemort took it, and then Harry took it, and then broke it.
Cool.
Pretty sure.
Anything else about wands, Jet?
No,
Did it make your list?
no, it did not.
Okay.
It's an honorable mention.
And you said your number 4 was Freddy's Glove.
Yeah,
So
so-
we'll go to my number 4. I don't have a clip for this one because it's a movie that nobody would recognize a musical score from. Jet, you have seen it with me though. It's The Glaive from Krull.
Yes, I remember.
The movie's Krull, Krull. For those who haven't seen it, Kate, I don't think you've seen
I
it.
saw the first 10 minutes and fell asleep.
Okay. The glaive is the main weapon. It's an obscure reference, and I get that. Krull isn't exactly a well-known movie in pop culture, but it's a perfect example of, like, 80s movie campiness.
You want a fun fact about Kroll?
Sure.
What's the shuriken? I'm gonna call it shuriken. In Ready Player One, when Iraq is running,
I was thinking about
running
that.
away from Shoto throws the Kroll shuriken.
The glaive.
He's
The
not
glaive,
running away, he's
and
shooting them.
He hits Iraq's arm.
Is that when he cuts his arm off and his money
and
starts
then-
falling out?
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
he
and
grows
he
a
comes
little
back with like a tentacle.
Yeah.
I didn't. I remember that now that you said it, but I didn't think about it when I was putting together my list. But for being so campy, it's really very charming. There are definitely some cheesy moments in the movie, in the way only 80s movies can have really cheesy moments and still deliver and pull it off. The glaive is the symbol of this movie. It looks like a star, kind of curved, with blades that like stick out of each of the points of the star. It can cut through basically anything. It was the only weapon the hero could use to take down the beast villain at the end of the movie. And I decided to include it because it's the only throwing weapon that I have on my list. All the rest are different. It's like a sharp, radiated, mystical fidget spinner. And it also glows. It comes back like a boomerang, and I really want one.
Yeah, it is really cool. I can't remember, like, in the ending, didn't he throw it and, like, I don't remember. Did it, like, swoop around or something, like, come back and hit the villain in the face?
It hit him in the stomach.
In the stomach.
Yeah, like in his belly. And I remember, like, you get half the movie is him finding the glaive in the first place, like, because he finds out it's the only weapon that can defeat the beast, and he's trying to defeat this beast to save this girl or whatever. And they spend all this time finding it, and it's really built up to be this awesome thing. And then you see it, and you're like, whoa, it's really cool. And then they get to this place where he has to use it to, like, cut through a wall or something, and it takes, like, forever. It's like in super slow motion to cut out the shape of a person for him to go through. And I'm like, man, if he had a lightsaber, that would have been so much faster.
Qui-Gon Jinn just like
Didn't it take-
creates a circle, kicks
Yeah.
it open.
Did it take a long time in Star Wars also when Qui-Gon Jinn had a
When they had those, like, Durasteel doors that closed, there were
Oh, yeah,
multiple. They had to melt
Durst.
through them. Yeah. All right. So the glaive is my number 4. Let's move on, Cade. What is your
Number 3.
Proton packs
good choice from Ghostbusters?
from Ghostbusters, yeah.
Why is that your number 3?
I think they look awesome, for one. Like, a lot of mine are, like, based on looks. But, like, I think they look awesome.
Yeah.
And they're, like, it's very iconic
Yeah.
to all of them. Since all of them wear them, and there's, you know, the shot from, like, the back, and they're all, like, crossing streams and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's, I'd say, like, a very iconic, like, movie weapon.
It's not exactly the most versatile weapon because
Yeah.
you can only use it on ghosts, but ghosts are the villains in that movie, so it
What
makes
would
sense.
happen if you, like, tried to use it on a human? Would it capture the human?
It would probably kill the human. I don't think it would capture them. But it's also pretty powerful because they say in the movie if they cross the streams and what do they call it? Reverse the reverse something. the protonic reversal, I think is what they call it. If they have a protonic reversal, it could destroy the whole world or end all life on Earth, I think is what they say. So it's also pretty powerful. Crossing the streams is something that I still say like an everyday conversation. I use it pretty often, and I always think about this movie when I do. I like the look of them too. They make awesome Halloween costumes for sure. Like how they did in Stranger Things. And I remember going to college parties and people were doing it back then too. So it's been around for a long time. It's an easy costume to make. I read online that they were originally supposed to kind of work like wands, like in Harry Potter, and they decided to change the design to make it more of like a laser gun because it reinforced the idea that all their gear was made from like practical equipment. I don't know if you remember that part in the movie, but they don't have a lot of money, so they're using like things that they have to make the gear. And I think it was a solid choice because the look is really awesome. Another cool fact, there was a theory in the first movie that after they crossed the streams and they won and they were celebrating at the end, that those were actually their ghosts celebrating that they had died from doing that. But then they made Ghostbusters 2, so that reversed. But it was kind of a cool.
They shouldn't have made
That
Ghostbusters
would be
2. They
so
should have just
cool.
left it at
That
that.
would have been cool, right?
I didn't even know that though.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Anything else about proton packs?
Nope.
Jet?
Winston is probably underrated.
Yeah, I would agree. Winston doesn't get enough love.
I know he joined in late, but like he's chill, you know. He's like one of those guys you're not friends with in real life, but it's okay that he's around. Like it'd be cool.
Well, that fits his character because that's basically what he is.
Yeah,
like,
but-
nobody cares about him, but he's there and he's fine.
Yeah, but like people hate him. You shouldn't hate him.
Nobody hates him.
He's a chill guy. You just don't want to be friends with him. But you
Who's your
don't-
favorite character?
Oh, it's definitely Venkman.
Okay,
When I
Venkman.
came in, I thought Winston's gonna be my favorite character, and then Venkman's easily my favorite. I like the
Venkman.
actor Bill Murray.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he's great.
You watched Groundhog Day with me
Yeah.
after we talked about comedy
That's-
movies.
I liked him already in Ghostbusters, and like I liked him a lot more after Groundhog.
Yeah. Groundhog Day was really good, wasn't it?
All right. Yeah, I was.
Yeah,
It was
all
really
right.
good.
Yeah, it was. Okay, cool. That moves us to Jet's number 3.
My number 3 is kind of complicated, but it's the Predator. So he has a variety of different weapons.
Yeah.
I just put Predator on my list though.
So he's got the little lasers on his arms, and he's got blades that come out of his arms.
I'd say
He's got
my
the shoulder
fav-
cannon.
Yeah.
my favorite weapons are his most clever ones. So if I had to pick one, I'd probably pick the voice synthesizer thing he uses to mimic synthesizer. Yeah. Which he uses to mimic one of the character big buff
His
80s
laugh.
action guys laugh. Yes.
Yeah.
And a reason why I like Predator so much is because you think it's going to be the standard 80s, you know, all action movie. And then, like, because you see, like, one of the first scenes is them mowing down, you know,
Yeah.
like all these army guys. And then, like, this Predator just takes them all out one by one.
Yeah.
And, like, they're defenseless.
But then he's defeated by just one human.
But he could have killed them multiple times. He was just like, okay, you're worthy enough to face me.
Every time we have a discussion about who wins fights, you're like, but he could have so many times. But he didn't.
Remember when he
Arnold won.
Remember when he caught him, like, metal was really right here, and all he had to do was stick another blade. But he's like, oh, you're worthy. So he took off his mask. And then,
And lost.
yeah, but he could have won.
He could have won if he made the right choice. He made the wrong choice and he lost.
But anyways, he's really cool.
He
And
is really cool.
Predator 2 or any of the other Predators are not nearly as good as the first one. But
Okay, you used to say Predator 2 was better than Predator 1.
I was being
for
ignorant.
a very long
I was
time.
being ignorant.
That was a long time ago. He's
Jay, I
changed
want to
his-
hear your best stick around impression.
Stick around.
Your turn.
Stick around.
Stick around.
Yours is best, Kate.
Yeah, okay, it's best.
Good job. What about It's Not a Tumor? That was pretty good, right?
Yeah, that was
Pretty
really
good.
good.
That's from Kindergarten Cop.
I want to watch that as well.
It's a fun movie. Not as good as Predator.
You sure?
Yeah.
Did they just like mow down?
No, they don't mow down kindergartners. All right. So you're done with number 3?
Yes.
Which was Predator? All right. My number 3 we have already covered, so it'll be real quick, but I want to play a song because I queued it up.
Oh, Indiana Jones.
You really couldn't get that right. That's good.
I was waiting for somebody to say something.
Well, you could get it either. From
I was waiting for you to get it.
Yeah, sure.
I think we already covered everything I meant to say about this. I did want to add one thing that I thought was cool about it was in The Last Crusade, Indy is portrayed by Indy's kid version is portrayed by actor River Phoenix,
Who
brother
passed
of-
away.
in the like 90s or early 2000s or something. I can't remember. But he's the brother of Joaquin Phoenix we just saw in The Joker. Anyways, in that opening sequence where he first gets the whip, he cracks it and it cuts his chin, right? And it explains why Indy has a scar on his chin, basically. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was kind of a cool thing. Harrison Ford, that's a real scar on Harrison Ford's chin. He got it in a car accident when he was about 20 years old. So I thought it was cool that they used the iconic weapon from the Indy franchise to explain how that scar got there for Harrison Ford.
I'm sorry if this is off topic, but this just gave me an idea. So I thought that opening's really good, because all in that one day, we learned how we got a scar, how we got the whip, how...
His hat?
Yeah, his hat, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
We should do a podcast, our next
His
one.
nickname,
Top
too.
5 movie openings. So,
Ooh, yeah.
an opening scene.
That's a good one.
You think that's good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, it's good.
You want to do that? Let's not do it for the next one.
All right.
Because we're doing a
Can't do
movie
two
one
movie
now.
things in a row.
Yeah.
All right, well, then we'll do that later on.
Okay. Good call. All right. Moving on. That was my number 3. Cade, what is your...
Number 2.
The Ring.
From Lord of the Rings?
Lord of the Rings. Not the ring, like the ring.
With Samara.
Yeah, Samara.
Yeah. Okay, so why is the ring, the One Ring, we'll call it the One Ring,
The One Ring. Yeah, the One Ring.
your number 2?
Well, again, very iconic to the series. I mean, there's a lot of cool weapons in that series. Like,
Sure.
A lot. But that one is like, it's what the 3 movies are about. So
Yeah. True.
And it looks awesome. Like, the little text on it and stuff like that. It's like the coolest looking ring of all time.
It is really
out of
cool.
any ring I've ever seen. Like,
Yeah.
you can buy them online too. And I was like, man, I want to buy one. It looks like awesome.
I like the part when he throws it in the fire for the first time and he takes it out and he sets it in his hand and you can see it kind of glowing with the
Yeah.
inscription on it for the first time. Yeah.
Backstory behind it's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, the whole movie and book franchise is about that
Based
ring,
off
basically.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, that's a good one for your number 2.
And it's also really cool that Gandalf can't use it, because if he does, like, if he lost control, he could literally destroy everything on the universe.
Yeah, it's interesting, because I thought about this one too. I didn't put it on my list. I strongly considered it. I couldn't quite figure out how to categorize it as a weapon. I mean, it turns them invisible, and it prolongs their life, and it makes them go crazy. But I guess it also makes them powerful in some way, because Gandalf, like Jet said, couldn't wield it because he would be too powerful, and it gave Sauron a lot of power. So
Could also Sauron be Gandalf? When Gandalf turned white, do you think he could be Sauron?
I don't know.
I hope he could.
I mean,
that scene really bugged me because I thought Gandalf was insane.
They should have had a huge build up to their fight, and when they finally meet in an awesome area, they just use their staffs as bow staffs and just fought with
like Donatello.
Yeah, like Donatello. They should have just fought like that. No powers at all. Just
yeah,
fighting
beat
with
each other up. Yeah. All right. Good choice for your number 2. Jet, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is difficult because this could easily be my number 1. Is the lightsaber.
Ooh. So why is it your number 2?
It could. I mean, honestly, it's just because the lightsaber, of course, it's amazing. It's in my opinion, the most powerful weapon in any movie ever.
Okay.
But the Jedi.
What? Their main weapon is what? The Force? Is that what you're trying to
Yes.
say? Okay, well, spit it out.
The main weapon is the Force, and while the lightsaber is extremely powerful, and it's it's super good and it can cut people in half, the Jedi is more powerful with the Force only than just the lightsaber only.
Okay.
Therefore, the Force also could be my number 1, but I didn't think about that till now.
Before The Force Awakens, I always thought you had to be a Jedi and trained with the Force to use a lightsaber,
Yeah.
I always thought that. And then Finn picked one up.
I know.
And
I didn't really like that part either. Now, there is some justification behind it because he was trained as a trooper, and these troopers were trained to defend themselves against Jedi.
Yeah.
So you could say, well, it's really just a bright sword. But I was kind of the same as you. I always thought, like, there's just no way. The reason only Jedi have them is because there's no way anybody else could wield that type of power and be safe with it. They'd end up hurting themselves or whatever.
I always thought that if a trooper or someone that's not force sensitive picked it up, they could use it, but they wouldn't be that powerful with it, you know?
Well, they ended up hurting themselves or something. That's what I always thought. Maybe it's that you have to have some sort of force ability and training to craft one.
Yeah, like the whole extensive process of getting your crystal that was explained in Clone Wars with the Padawans.
Yeah,
like that was really cool, and it was like it really showed like how important these things are and how like.
However, we did see before The Force Awakens, we saw General Grievous use lightsabers, and he's not force sensitive either.
That is true.
And oh yeah, that's true.
So I don't know. I kind of agree with you though. It bugs me. It bugged me. We saw Han Solo use a lightsaber once in The Empire Strikes Back. He cut open a tauntaun with it.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
So
That's
there are a few examples, but
It's
He
not
did
like
kill something
I
with
never
it.
thought it was like Mjolnir though. That's kind of what you guys are saying. Like,
Mjolnir.
no one can use it unless they get hurt.
well, but see if that's the reason I thought that is because why wouldn't other people have one then? They're obviously amazing weapons. Why wouldn't Boba Fett have one? Or the troopers that are proficiently. Why wouldn't stormtroopers have them?
Yeah. Then again, like Mandalorians have it, like in Clone Wars, and like it's canon
Wasn't
now.
he a rogue Jedi though? The
That-
Mandalorian that crafted it.
He that was a Jedi weapon that they stole.
Oh yeah.
But Sabine in Rebels is also not force sensitive, and she ends up wielding it, the black lightsaber,
Yeah.
later on. So I mean,
So I'm now conforming to what I was saying before we diverted here. I think that only Jedi can craft them because they have to have some sort of skill in the Force to be able to build one.
to locate the crystal at least.
Yeah, and to put it together and make it all work. However, maybe other people can use them, just not as proficiently without the Force as their aid. Right?
yeah, that's true.
Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
All right. Anything else to add about lightsabers, Jet?
No,
As your number 2? All right. My number 2, we already talked about, but I would
Iron Man suit,
No. I'll play the song. It
Ghostbusters.
was a Ghostbusters Proton Pack. So I'll just stop
Sorry.
the song. That's all right. I knew we were going to have a bunch of repeats. As soon as you said your list was really good, I'm like, that's because it's like mine. And my lists are always the best out of the three of us, clearly.
Y'all's number ones are
I
not
don't know. My
lightsabers.
3 out of like my top 5 70 songs were not 70 songs.
That's
but
true. All right. So moving on. I already said everything I need to say about the Proton Packs. Cade, what's your...
Number 1.
The Death Star.
Ooh, no lightsaber.
Ooh,
Okay.
that's interesting.
Yeah, I thought about my first instinct was the Force, you know,
Okay.
but I was like, oh, someone's gonna have that, you know.
Yeah.
And then it was like, maybe lightsaber, you know, because Force is definitely my first pick. But apparently for Jet, the Force came to him after talking about lightsabers being his pick. And I was like,
Yes.
you know what? I'm just going to go for the Death Star. It's a moon.
That's no moon.
That's true.
Yeah. And it's like, it's huge.
It can destroy planets.
It can destroy planets.
Death Star
Like,
1 or 2?
One shot, 2. 2 looks cooler
Two
than
is
1.
cooler for sure.
It looks awesome.
I like one.
How? 2 is like so much
yeah,
cooler.
it's getting built and all that, but like
And it's bigger and more powerful.
it's not.
And it's like
not,
halfway, like,
it's not
finished.
more
It's
powerful.
like- it
Number
looks
1
awesome.
was finished.
Yeah.
Number 2 would be more powerful, but it's like half.
I want to see Death Star 1 and 2. No, it was fully
Fight?
operational. We heard.
Then why was it not finished?
They hadn't finished like the bathrooms and stuff, but the laser was working.
That's the
It
other
just
thing.
didn't paint the inside yet.
I could not stand working at the Death Star. Like, do you see how big that thing is? Like, how could you literally find anything? It's like a planet, but like super crowded.
I'm sure
Where
there's like kiosk, like at the mall, that like direct you where to go. You know how it shows like at the mall, it's like this is floor 1, and next to it would be like a floor 2 plan. Just like a super like 3-mile long line of just like floor 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like going all the way up.
Yeah.
Or it's like
Imagine the
most of
elevator.
it just like is there just 2 floors like or 1 floor that's like really long and everything else is just like powering the thing, or is there like a million floors since it's like
It
this
has to
big
be
as a
like a
moon.
million floors. It's the size of a small moon. But I want to see Death Star 1 versus Death Star 2 face off.
I want to see one of them like move around.
Yeah,
I want to see it move around.
that would be cool.
Let's have like boosters
I
on
mean,
the back.
it was moving. You didn't get to see it moving, but it was moving in Return of the Jedi. They were trying to get in range of the Forest Moon of Endor to blow up the planet, right? And you saw it on the screen how it was moving. We didn't see the actual.
How big
thing
are the
moving.
exhaust pipes? Is my question.
Those are
The one that you fire the
boosters.
torpedoes in.
What?
The one that you fire the torpedoes in to blow it up.
I was being like,
Oh, that was that one. That wasn't an exhaust. I guess it was because it was kind of a heat vent.
I
Same thing.
guess, Yeah.
Yeah. So I had something else about the Death Star.
How much horsepower? You think?
Horsepower.
Yeah, the Death Star.
Does someone drive the Death Star as well?
It
Like,
has to be piloted if it's moving.
it's crazy. Like, I imagine it being like the Titanic. Like, it's just moving in space in a huge iceberg.
Yeah, because boats don't move. They just let the water carry them.
No.
They have engines.
What?
Boats have engines.
So, like, yeah, it could easily be like the Titanic. Like, an iceberg is in the middle of space. I don't know how it
A
works.
planet.
I don't know how it works.
Hoth.
Yeah,
Just a
Hoth.
big iceberg.
And it hits. That
And
could-
the-
instead of them blowing up, which is cool, but is lamer than my thing, it should hit an iceberg.
Yeah, they should just go light speed through planets
Well,
and
they
create
did. They
giant
did that
holes.
in The Last Jedi with a Star Destroyer.
Anyways,
That is true.
it should hit an iceberg instead of them blowing it up, you know?
Yeah.
And then that's why it's like Death Star 2. You know, because some of it's off.
Yes, I get what you're saying. We do see remnants of the Death Star 2 in the trailer for F9.
The
Yep.
Rise of the Skywalker.
The Rise of Skywalker, yes.
The Rise of the Skywalker.
No, The Rise of Skywalker. There is remnants of the throne room from Death Star 2 in the trailer. You see Rey and Kylo kind of facing off for a battle there. Or it looks like a battle, or maybe they're talking. I don't know.
I think when they fight will be early on in the film.
I think they're going to fight early, and then they're going to fight it again at the end.
Do you think at the end? I feel like both of them might fight Emperor Palpatine at the end or something.
So
like that.
this is what I was thinking about today about all of the trailers we've seen for The Rise of Skywalker. None of them have given me any indication what this movie is about. Like, I don't know the story at all. And I think that's intentional. They're keeping it a mystery. But it's at this point, it's all speculation. I do think they're going to fight right at the beginning. I do think they're going to fight again at the end. I don't think they're both going to survive.
You think so?
Yeah. Now, whether that's because one of them kills the other or because they team up and one of them dies, I don't know. But
I remember a long time ago. I don't know what
in a galaxy
podcast
far, far away.
or if it even was a podcast where you said you think eventually Kylo Ren is going to die and it's going to be like a sympathetic death. You know?
Yeah,
It's
I
gonna
remember
really-
talking about that.
That-
Speculation for The Force Awakens, maybe, or The Last Jedi.
All the Star Wars haters, I think, will be like, "Oh man, I should have been nicer to the guy. It's kind of sad to see him go." You know?
I want to see his lightsaber blue.
that
His
would be
unstable
cool.
lightsaber blue.
That would be cool.
Oh, and I saw a picture of, remember the throne that it showed, like in the ice, the
Yes.
giant iceberg?
Yes, it looks like Ralph McQuarrie concept art.
Yeah, that's what I saw. The picture of it was his drawing, like in like
Yeah.
a notebook or something like that, like sketchbook, I guess, from like the 70s.
Right. For our listeners, Ralph McQuarrie was the concept artist for George Lucas before they made the movies, and pretty much all of the really cool designs from Star Wars that are visually, aesthetically pleasing were original Ralph McQuarrie concepts.
Wasn't Darth Vader gonna have it like a
Blue.
very light blue lightsaber?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Boba Fett had white armor and a white lightsaber.
That would be amazing.
That'd be awesome.
It would be cool. All right, so Death Star as your number one movie weapon. Kate.
Dad, what's yours? Your number one.
And we're not on me yet. Jet, what's your number
Is your
one?
number one not the lightsaber or the Death Star or the Force?
I don't know. What's your number one?
Well, because we've already covered all of those. I mean,
Do you want me to do my number one first? Is that what
Yeah.
you're saying? My number one...
Wait, we've never gone out of order before.
Oh, man.
Wait a minute. Think about what you're doing. All
Okay.
right, Jet, you go first.
I sure like why don't I have a feeling it's one of those three.
I already know what Dad's is.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just do mine.
Yeah, it's Star Wars, just like I said.
Why did I pick this song?
Because it's the
It's a
double-bladed
double-bladed
It is
lightsaber.
Darth Maul's lightsaber, and I picked... Well, I'll just talk about lightsabers in general first. How can you not have the lightsaber as your number one weapon, Jet? Oh, my gosh.
Because
I mean, I
it's
give
too
you a break because
obvious.
you picked Star Wars. Listen, I know sometimes I avoid.
I already knew that was the Force and lightsaber. I told you were the two things I knew were going to be on the list.
I know sometimes I avoid the obvious answer here, but there's no other choice that even comes close. Like, I don't get how you could do this. It's the weapon of the Jedi Knight, not as random or as clumsy as a blaster. It's an elegant weapon for a more civilized age. Did you even listen to Obi-Wan? Rest in peace. It's destructive, it's versatile, it can cut through anything, it can deflect blaster bolts, and all the design options make it look amazing and aesthetically
It's definitely
pleasing.
This could easily be my number one. In
It
fact,
could, but it wasn't.
I like it more than my number one, but I knew both of y'all would already have
But
this.
you didn't pick it,
so
so
I
whatever.
chose something different.
So who hasn't pretended to wield a lightsaber at some point in our life? Now, we have a ton of lightsabers. You don't have to pretend. But even the people who don't, grab a broom, you swing it around, you pretend it's a lightsaber. I think everybody in America and maybe the world has done that at some point in their life, right? They're just that iconic. I picked Darth Maul specifically because...
when you first saw this, you were like,
Well, there's two
whoa.
reasons. One, kind of three reasons. One, I thought you guys would have lightsaber also as your number one. I was going to ask you which one. I didn't ask you which one because you didn't have it as your number one. But which one would you pick?
Out of the single bladed, double bladed, and the boat.
A character's lightsaber.
I choose.
Has to be from the movies. This is movie weapons.
Yeah, I know. I'm choosing. It's gonna be Kylo Ren. Yeah.
Okay, Kylo Ren.
Okay, mine is pretty simple. It's Luke's, Anakin's, and Rey's.
The blue
Easily
one.
the most iconic lightsaber of
So-
all
So I
time.
think I would pick Mace Windu's lightsaber over that. One, it's purple, which is I like. Cool.
Yeah, you're just-
and the hilt is awesome.
The
looking.
hilt is
you're picking
cool.
it off of coolness. I'm picking it off of legacy and story.
It's the most important
Yes.
lightsaber. Now, I would have picked Luke's green one from Return of the Jedi.
That one's also very iconic and important to the story.
That's my favorite one.
In fact, we've talked about this before. There's a deleted scene where Luke is like rebuilding or building his green lightsaber.
In Obi-Wan's hut on Tatooine.
They should have kept that scene. That would be really cool to me.
Yeah.
And isn't also Vader's like in his meditation cell and he's like calling out to Luke, and it cuts to Luke building his lightsaber. I'm pretty sure.
That would have been a really cool scene for sure to keep in the movie. But I picked Darth Maul's because I figured neither one of you would. And even if you're a prequel hater, like you were saying, Jet, that moment in The Phantom Menace when Darth Maul first ignites his lightsaber and then the other side comes out right before the final battle, I won't ever forget that moment in theaters on opening night, seeing that like just floored. And everybody can hate on the Phantom Menace as much as they want. There are things that are not cool about the Phantom Menace. I'll give you that. But that moment was amazing. That battle was awesome. And holy crap. Like, I won't ever forget that moment.
What was like
So,
the theater's reaction? Was everyone like,
It was cheer. It was
odd
like
or, like-
applause. Yeah, like people were like,
what?
Yeah, exactly.
The other side came out.
Which era would you live in Star Wars? OT, prequel, or sequel? I do prequel without a doubt.
yeah, I guess it's like safest. Well, they're having a war.
Well, yeah, but in original trilogy, if you choose to even be smuggler, trooper,
So
or
you're
a
under
Jedi,
in the original trilogy, you're under the thumb of the Empire because they're in control, right? And it's an oppressed galaxy, so
Sequel,
that's not a
it
good
might
time.
be-
Which you probably make good money and you get food and shelter
Sequel-
if you join the Empire.
it might be even
I'm saying.
worse
Maybe
to live in
if
the
you're-
sequel stuff, in the sequel era, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Wait, actually, is the Resistance or the Rebellion bigger, do you think?
So in the sequel era, you have like a reformed government, a republic, let's call it, and then you have the First Order that also made their own government, and they're kind of like picking at little pieces of the republic, and then you have the Resistance that formed outside of the republic to fight the First Order, and then the Resistance. Oh, I need to stop the music because we moved on past Duel of the Fates. The Resistance became the Rebellion again at
Yeah.
the end of The Last Jedi.
Wait,
So-
did they confirm it? Like,
that's what they said in the movie.
we're gonna be the Rebellion.
Yeah, basically. So that's why I picked Darth Maul's. But yeah, the lightsaber, definitely the number one
All right.
movie weapon of all time.
Great list. Let's move on to the worst.
Not quite yet. Kay, do you have any?
Honorable mention.
Wait.
You are
Oh,
correct because I do have honorable mentions.
never mind.
I had Iron Man suits. Terminator's minigun, not his shotgun, because everyone loves his shotgun. I was
Speaking
amazed
of-
when I saw his minigun and him just mowing down cars.
Speaking of Terminator, that was my number one.
I thought it was.
Yes, that was.
Oh, we never did your number one.
yeah,
Yeah.
what are we doing? Okay, they went out of order.
Why did you tell us to move on? And you told us to go out of order, which threw the whole thing off. And then right when I'm done, you told us to move on. You forgot your number one. Talk about Terminator.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm saying the lightsaber could beat the Terminator. I like it more. I just thought that. Actually, I knew you would have it as my number one, so I chose it because the Star Wars could be Star Wars even without lightsabers. Even though that's like the biggest thing ever in Star Wars.
Star Wars could be Star Wars without Star Wars.
But
That's pretty much what he's saying.
it could still be Star Wars with the Force. They made a whole movie off of just a weapon. Just a weapon. The Terminator, which is amazing. Not the T-1000, not the T-5000, not the T-500,000. The T-800 is maybe the best movie weapon of all time.
Terminator is a great choice, and I almost put it on my list. It's just not number one. And
it's not my number one either.
Yeah, but it is. I'm just teasing you. It's fine. I picked Terminator theme music for the intro, so you know that it was on my mind also. Which you rolled your eyes when I did that, and I thought, Jet has it on his list somewhere. I didn't know it'd be your number one, but okay, fine. So Terminator number one. Anything else to add about Terminator?
It's great.
Good choice.
Moving on.
All right, Kate, honorable mentions.
Yeah, I had the Predator shoulder cannon. I wanted to pick one thing about him, not just Predator.
Yeah.
And 1977 Chevrolet Yellow Camaro.
Transformers?
Yeah, Bumblebee.
Okay. Took me a second there. Any honorable mentions for you, Jet?
I had, see, with guns, there's, like, I didn't want to really choose any guns from every movie because, like, you know, they're just guns.
Yeah.
So, none in the guns department.
Okay. Do you have any honorable mentions?
The Ninja Turtles, all four of their weapons, because it's very unique and diverse.
Oh, yeah, I have one more. Bruce Lee's nunchucks.
Okay.
Those are sick.
I had Gladiator's shield.
Okay. You're just making up stuff now.
Yes.
All right. Mine, a lot of them we talked about. Death Star, the One Ring, the Predator's weapons, the Harry's wand, the Elder Wand.
It's like my list right there.
The Iron Man suit, Mjolnir were all honorable mentions. I had Wolverine's claws as an honorable mention. Ash's chainsaw.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I thought you would have that on your list. That's why.
I considered it, but I chose Freddy Krueger just because it's more iconic.
Okay.
But Cade thinks it's stupid that he has a chainsaw.
I haven't seen the movie. Just from looking at it, he's got chainsaws in hand. It just seems ridiculous and stupid.
Yeah, I think that's the point, though. I mean, it's kind of a campy movie.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like.
I had the T-800 shotgun. I thought was a cool weapon.
Why are people choosing his shotgun and his minigun when he could just
because he holds it with one hand and he goes.
Yeah, the way he does
it's
it, and
super cool. But why don't you just choose the T-800?
That scene where he's doing that on the motorcycle when they have the chase through the under that bridge and whatever that thing is that they're driving through. He had to. Well, first of all, his hands were torn up because every time he would do it, he would pinch his skin. So he had to practice it over and over again. That scene took a month to film because not only did he have to practice doing that, he had to actually drive a motorcycle and do that without. And like he would turn and look and shoot, and like he was actually driving a motorcycle while he was doing that. He wasn't allowed to move his eyes because it would take away from the Terminator's character.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of impressive that Arnold was able to do that. And the shotgun was a cool weapon. I also had the power loader from Aliens that Ellen Ripley gets in.
Oh yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool. But the thing is like it's like saying my favorite weapon from or what's cool about Neo is that his pistols are cool. Like, no, that's not cool. It's because that he can bend the rules of the Matrix.
So that's his weapon is
bullets.
that he can bend the rules.
And the T-800's weapon is that he is the T-800. It's not because he has a shotgun, motorcycle, pistol, grenade launcher, RPGs, anything.
But if you
like
really
that.
want to get technical, you could say that about the Jedi. Or you could say
yeah.
You could say that about anybody.
You could say that about the Jedi, how the lightsaber is better than the Force, according to y'all.
You could say that Michelangelo, sure, he's got nunchucks, but that's really just something he's holding on to. It's because he's got all these ninja skills and he's a mutant. Like, you could say that about everybody. I get your point, but
the T-800 is literally a weapon.
Honorable mention, Michelangelo's skateboard.
He was made to be a weapon. Like
all right, I got your point. Let's move on. We've beat this horse to death. Cade, what is your...
The worst.
My worst is Tom Holland's new Spider-Man suits.
Interesting. Why?
Why?
I had a hard time choosing the worst because I couldn't find something that was just like I was trying to look for something ridiculous, you know. But then I realized like I used to love Spider-Man when I was like a little kid.
My! I know why.
Wait,
Spider-Man. Let me finish.
And let me finish. You
It's-
can't say
All
let
right,
me
Kanye,
finish while
hold
I'm
up.
still talking.
I know why though.
I'm gonna let you finish.
Beyonce right here had the best video.
All right, T Swift, say your stuff.
T Swift, my bad. No, he was talking about Beyonce.
I know. I'm telling you,
Because
you're
the
T
webs
Swift. Say your
don't
stuff.
come out of his
He's,
skin.
he's being Kanye. I'm calling you T Swift.
Oh,
Finish your
okay,
speech.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So, I thought his powers were so cool when he first looks up on the brick wall and he like puts his hands on it, he starts climbing. I thought that was awesome, right?
I see what you're saying now.
And
Yeah.
his webs were his powers.
Yeah.
Right? And that was like his main thing was his webs. Well, that's not his powers. Tom Holland's that's not his powers. It's
part
his
of
suit.
Yeah.
You know, you could be like, oh, well, Iron Man's powers are just because of his suit, you know?
But he's not Spider-Man.
Yeah, but he's not. He didn't have powers like previously in other like big movies.
So
like,
in the new movies, then is Spider-Man's really his only power, like his Spidey sense and his like fast reflexes and stuff, and his
his
strength?
athletic
No,
ability, I guess.
the
Yeah.
climbing walls part is his powers, but it's just that his webs are web shooters. Because if he didn't make the web shooters, there's no sign of him ever being smart. Because he didn't make his suit; Tony Stark did. And so if he didn't make the web shooters, in my opinion, I think, oh, he's kind of dumb. I mean, he's smart for a high school kid, but he didn't make anything. He didn't even make a suit. But at least he made his web shooters, you know.
I agree with Kate. It was cooler when it was his ability. Now I know that like
I think that's weird.
a lot
It's
of
freaky.
comic truists will say that the web shooters as part of his suit were the main form in the comics. I know there's different iterations or whatever, but I thought it was cooler when it was just him.
Yeah, I thought it was clear when it was his
Because
powers.
he's like a spider. Like he is the Spider-Man. He's got webs. He can climb walls. Like it's part of his abilities.
Yeah.
But whatever. All right, Jet, what's your worst?
So, if you don't agree with my worst, then I have a backup worst. So, I chose Black Widow's kicks because she has no powers except for her kicks, and she's hot. But that's it. That's all she has. Like,
Okay.
she doesn't have like. How is she even a superhero? You could
So
say
is
that-
her weapon the athletic ability to do kicks?
no,
not really a weapon
it's,
so
it's,
much.
It's just kicks. That's it. It's like Hawkeye, but at least he has a cool like. He's funny, I guess, and he has like a bow and arrow. But she just has kicks. It's not cool. And if you
Okay.
don't agree with me, then I'll choose Captain America's shield. Or something.
Well, that's why I picked was Captain America's shield. If you've ever listened to our show, you know that we aren't the biggest fans of Cap. But even outside of my bias, a shield, like the lamest weapon ever.
Plus, he didn't even craft it. Samuel Jackson just gave it to him.
Well, and yeah, true. And throwing a shield at someone is what you do as a last resort because you lost your real weapon and all you have left is a shield. But that's his weapon, so that's my worst, easily. All right.
Listener choices.
We at social media, what is the best movie weapon? And we got quite a few responses. 87. Not bad for like not being around for a while. We had a 4-way tie for third, fourth, fifth, and sixth,
Oh my gosh!
which were Wolverine's claws, Mjolnir, Michael Myers' knife, and Ash's chainsaw.
Interesting.
Number 2, the noisy cricket
That
from
was on
Men
my
in
bottom
Black.
list.
Yeah, it's like a tiny little gun, but
Yeah.
super powerful. Have you ever seen Men in Black, Jet?
I started it. I couldn't finish it.
It's cool. I'm surprised it got as many votes as it did. Number 1, by far, because clearly it's the number one
Lightsaber.
weapon of all time of any movie, is the lightsaber. And anybody should know that.
I agree.
All right. So those were our listener choices. We'll go ahead and move on to the
Pew pew pew
good
pew
Glenn Solomon fun fact of the week.
pew pew pew
Good.
pew.
Our fun fact, I didn't know we would talk about Terminator for so long. So I picked a Terminator fun fact since I didn't have it on my list. I wanted to show it some love. But what I picked was a female passerby wandered onto the set when they had the biker bar
Yep.
in the opening scene. She thought it was real. Despite walking past all like location trucks and cameras and stuff, she thought it was a real bar. And she saw Arnold Schwarzenegger standing there dressed only in boxer shorts, which in the movie he's naked, but like in real life when they filmed
Yeah.
it, he was wearing the boxers. And she said out loud, like, what's going on? And Arnold told her it was male stripper night.
Seriously?
Yeah. Also, in the audio commentary, James Cameron, the director, he said that the biker bar scene was filmed across the street from where the LAPD officers beat up Rodney King, which you guys don't know about. I don't know if you know about Rodney King. There were some huge riots in LA in the early 90s when the police beat up this guy named Rodney King. Not only was their bar where they filmed it right across the street, but it was filmed the same night as the beating.
Whoa.
Yeah, which is kind of interesting.
That's actually kind of crazy.
I know. And that lady walked in and thought it was male stripper night. Jet's face every time I play that. I love it. All right, Jet. And Jet's face every time I play that. Like he's like, oh crap, I forgot.
It's time for Jet's Pun of the Week.
He's thinking right now, like, what do I say? What do I say?
What did two bananas say when they break up? Wait, what do two bananas do when they break up? They split.
Okay.
Wait, I have another one.
Oh, do we want to hear it though? All right. Well, anything else to add before we wrap up here, guys?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Well, thanks to everybody for taking the time to listen. Go check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/5to1podcast. Tweet us, 5to1podcast.
Honorable mention, the Iron Giant.
Okay. What's his weapon? Don't say he is the weapon.
I mean, he is the weapon.
We also have an Instagram account, same handle, 5to1podcast. Give us your opinions. Tell us what you think. Tell us why we're idiots. Tell Jet he should have had lightsabers as number 1. Leave us ideas for future episodes. Also, please give us a review on iTunes. We love those. And you can write us. We have an email address. It's 5to1podcast@gmail.com. And the last way to get a hold of us, which we really love, is for you to call us and leave us a voicemail. It's 469-607-5to1. That's 469-607-5861. Hey, everybody, please join us next time on 5to1 for our discussion on sidekicks.
Top 5 sidekicks.
Yeah.
Wait, sidekicks? Why sidekicks?
I knew you were going to hate it.
There's no cool sidekick.
By the one, so it's guaranteed you can
Love you.